Welcome back, Cardboard Warriors. How's everybody out there doing today? This is my draft results from this past weekend here. I went to one of my LGSs, which I've never seen less than 16 people at a draft, but apparently because it was spring break and a lot of the players at that LGS are college kids, there was only 4 people showed up for draft, but they let us draft anyway. Um, However, the Wizards site was down, so we couldn't use the companion app, which figures out percentages and all that stuff. So we ended up just having to go by points. And at the end, it was a 3-way tie for first out of the 4 of us. It was pretty funny. Yeah, we all won 2 rounds. I only actually lost 3 games out of all the 3 rounds there. First game I went 2-0. The next game was 2-1, and then the last game was 1-2. The last game, the last match there, I just ended up just not pulling very good on the lands, and that was a problem because I had beat the guy who beat him in the first round, so I probably should have won that. I just ended up with some mana issues there at the end. Anyways, I wanted to show you the deck. Because there was only 16 packs, there wasn't a lot of stuff to choose from, so it was a little weird. And I was having trouble deciding where I wanted to go at the beginning. I actually started pulling black and white at the beginning, and then I just wasn't getting a lot of good stuff, and I came across some decent blue cards, so I started pulling a little bit of blue. I started pulling a little bit of red. It was just so the card I didn't use, I did get a Kodama, the West Tree for the Mythic there. I got a Greasefang, Akiba Boss. I almost ran that. Like I said, I was very tempted to go white because I was tempted to go more heavy on the vehicles. Then I realized I wasn't getting a lot of ninjutsu cards. I was tempted to go heavy on the vehicles. And I did get a Prodigy's prototype, so I wanted to go kind of blue and white and go vehicles, but I didn't get enough support for it. I almost went 3 colors, so I decided at the last minute to go down to 2. I got the recovery unit. I did get a couple of Kitsune Aces, and a Moth Rider, and a Banishing Slash, and a Spirited Companion, so I really kind of wanted to go white in there. But I just kind of figured at the last minute the blue-black ninjutsu was a little more cohesive than trying to go vehicles and ninjutsu. It just seemed a little too cumbersome. So the red, I just kept getting a lot of red cards because nobody was pulling red, obviously. And I did get one of the mountains, one of the pretty mountains there. So what I ended up running was I did get an Otawara, the Restoring City, one of the channel lands. I think I got to use it once. I got 3 of the ambushers, including a foil showcase one. So I did run my usual 3 ambushers. People still passed on them, which is crazy. That's such a good card. And I got a replication specialist, which I actually ended up using, which I hadn't used before. Or I might have used one time before and didn't really get much use out of it. But this time, I ended up getting a lot of use out of that. I ended up with, at one point, I only had 2 physical ambushers, but I had 2 copies of ambushers because of this guy. So I had 4 ambushers out there, and that was a little tough for the opponent to deal with 4 lifelinkers on the board. So Replication Specialist actually really, really good in sealed or draft because you don't get a lot of the copies of the main cards you want. So this guy lets you make token copies of all those good things like ambushers and stuff. I got a return to action. The Silver Fur Master I got in the last pack passed to me, so that is kind of why I ended up going black and blue, because I did have the kind of Ninja Master there. So I figured I'd just go a little more cohesive with just ninjutsu instead of trying to do ninjutsu and vehicles. I still had a little bit of vehicle in here, and I'll show you that when we get to it. I did get a Prosperous Thief. He didn't help much. I didn't get him into play very often. The ninjutsu, I was having trouble getting the ninjutsu across because I didn't have a lot of flyers, and the other main guys I was playing had a lot of green, so they had a lot of reach in their decks, and or they had flyers in there. I just wasn't able to get across very well to get the unblocked ones in there to really use the ninjutsu as well as I'd hoped. I got an Anchor to Reality simply so I could get the Thundersteel Colossus out, and it seems like every time I did get an Anchor to Reality in my hand, I also had the Thundersteel Colossus in my hand, so it didn't actually do any good for me. I never actually used the Anchor to Reality because, like I said, whenever I did get it in my hand, I already had that in my hand, so it didn't really help. And the other big guy is not an artifact, so that didn't help either. So it just didn't end up helping me at all. I got a Silencer, Long Reach Goodnight, couple lethal exploits, great little removal spell for draft. And there's the other two ambushers I got. I did get one Searchlight Companion. These are really, really awesome with the ninjutsu because they are a flyer, and you get the extra token, so you got a chump blocker each time that you cast this, and you can keep ninjutsuing it out, bringing in your good guys because it's a flyer. It's less likely to get blocked, and you can like I said, ninjutsu in your ambushers or whatever, pick it back up and then recast it and get another token each time. So I love that little combo there with the ninjutsu. And the puzzle makers, these guys were actually putting in a lot of work for me. I ended up getting 2 of them, and so I ended up drawing them quite often and getting them into play because they're only a 3-drop. But the flying 1/4 is great for blocking, and then whenever it becomes tapped, you get to scry 1. So if you attack with it, you get to scry 1. And even though it's only 1 power, because it's a flyer, it's less likely to get blocked. So you can, once again, ninjutsu in your ambusher, swap it out. You get to scry 1, and you get to ninjutsu, and you get to pick it back up, play it again, do the same thing. The other reason I was getting a lot of use out of this was the vehicles. So I had where's the other one? So I had the Brute Suit, which is only a crew 1, which was awesome because the Puzzle Maker can actually crew it. So I would just crew the Brute Suit with the Puzzle Maker to scry each turn, even if I couldn't attack. So that came in very handy. And also the Thundersteel Colossus, you can use the 2 Puzzle Makers to crew that, or the Puzzle Maker and one of the tokens from the Searchlight Companion or whatever, you know. So I was able to crew that pretty easily, but I only really got it into play like 1 time, I think. 7-drop is just too much, and I just didn't get that Anchor Reality to be able to use it to bring it in sooner each time. So, but the Puzzle Makers with that scry ability, really, really good for draft or sealed, especially if you're running ninjutsu, because you got the flyer, you can usually get through and ninjutsu in your other stuff, and you get to scry with it. I got 1 Moonsnare Specialist. This guy always puts in work for me in the ninjutsu deck, so I love him because he gets to bounce something every time it comes into play. So you can either bounce one of your guys that got blocked and save them, or you can bounce one of your opponent's guys and make them recast them. Copy of Terrible Secrets. I got this into play a couple times, and it's okay because it's 3 or 4 body, but I never had the artifact and enchantment into play at the same time when I cast this, so I never got to actually draw the card and gain the life, which is a bummer. It's just, that one kind of probably work better in a constructed deck, but I just don't think it's that much value for it for a 4-drop, so it's not that great of a card overall. Chainveil Centipede. I put this in there just to get that extra +2 on the reconfigure. It's good strategy in sealed or draft. Again, I don't know if it's really worth it to put it in a stack or a constructed deck, but for sealed and draft, it does work a little bit, so you can get that extra couple, especially on the life linkers. You can pump them up to a 5/2 when you attack with the reconfigure and get that 5 points of life from the life link. So I got a regular return action. I only got 1 automated artificer this time around, so I didn't have as much ramp as I'd like. I usually like to get a couple of these in the deck so I can get that extra mana pretty much every time around. Really helps with the ninjutsu and being able to cast some of the little bit larger creatures that are artifacts, and of course the vehicles. So there's the Brute Suit. This one actually put in a lot of work for me. As far as vehicles go, this one's really good. It only needs to crew 1. So like I said, that token from the Searchlight Companion can crew them. So you can either use it as a jump blocker, or you can crew this guy and make a 4/3 vigilance, which is good. The X-Guard Familiar, just good little, the reconfigure pump spell. Reconfigure at 4 is a little bit rough for me, but it's only 2-drop and it is an artifact. So I was figuring I could probably sack it to that, what was that, Anchored Reality there to try and get the big boy, but never actually made that work. And then, of course, the Shadow Walker. I love this guy for 4. The ninjutsu in a 5/5. I can usually do that pretty quick with the help of the artificers and stuff. or the treasure tokens from the other little guy there. So I can usually get them on turn 3, coming across for 5. It's sneaking across for 5 from like a 1/1 attacker is awesome. And of course the Colossus. He did win a game for me, because I was able to hard cast him and get him out there, and crew for 2 for 7/7 trample haste. And it's pretty beastly to deal with in a draft. So, anyways, that's what I pulled. And I'm getting $8 store credit and an Orcus Prince of Undeath with the promo stamp from Dungeons and Dragons there. And I also got a promo pack, so we're going to open that. And I think is this the first one of these promo packs I've opened? Maybe the first or second one I've opened. And there's a Grease Fang promo right on the top there. Hey, a Silver Fur Master. It's all stuff out of my deck. And then, of course, the by invitation only from Vow. So, there you go. There's your promo cards. So, nothing too exciting, but hey, free cards. So, there we go. That's what I did. Let me know how you guys did in your draft. Check out the description below for me. There's a lot of links down there to save you money, get you cash back on all your purchases. All those links really help out the channel, so I really appreciate it when you guys use those. And, yeah. Thank you so much. Let me know how you did in the comments below. My email address is down there also. My actual physical address if you want to send me something to open on camera. I always appreciate that when people send me stuff to open on camera. Love hearing from you guys and getting stuff from you guys and talking to you guys in the comments. So thank you so much for your time. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.